Everyone, welcome to the Income Masters channel. It is August 27, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. You're here with Dave Durham, and my name's Emily Norris with Traders Reserve. Today is going to be one of our deep dive educational sessions. We are recording this session. We'll post a replay to the platform. If you have any questions, you can pop those in the chat, and we'll get to those once Dave has wrapped up. With that, I'll let you take it away, Dave.
All right, thank you, Emily. We're going to do this one on Theta Decay, its impact on buying and selling options. Subtitle From Friends to Sellers, Foe to Buyers. So I talked about doing a deep dive tactics on a couple different subjects because one of them was Theta Decay, but I didn't know if I had enough here. And I think there's enough to go through this one. That way we can keep it the separate recording and post that up under our course materials so that way you can refer back to it. So we'll focus on this today. It's part of our, obviously, our weekly series, our daily series here. We have the, tomorrow we're back Thursday with live trading and trade adjustments, and then we're off Friday, and I'll remind you about that again. I'll also go over our early September schedule with the vacation I have there to make sure everybody is up to speed. Looking ahead into September, though, we're going to add a couple different topics here into our deep dive. I want to spend some time on price action and how that affects our positions and what we do with price action. That's basically the movement of prices intraday during the market hours. So there's some things we can learn there. We'll talk about short-term diagonal spreads. Those are a couple spreads we did in the Income Madness. So we'll go over a session on that. Another recovery case study to look at as well. Also, since today we're talking about Theta Decay, we will also just touch on gamma effects and option selling. Those are the impact of sort of the last few days, the acceleration of the Theta Decay. And we'll also do towards the end of the month another Q&A session like we did at the end of July. So these are sessions, again, we'll probably have them about 15-20 minutes. There may be some combinations, but I like the idea of trying to keep these separate so you have a case that you can refer back to these when you need to. So today's session on Theta Decay. Basically, Theta measures time decay in options. And I think most of us are aware of that and understand that. It basically shows how much option loses in value daily as expiration approaches. And there's that chart on that. So for buyers, Theta is, way to think of it, it's like a cost. For sellers, Theta is income. So that is the good side for us since we mostly sell options. Theta measures the rate of time decay in an options premium, and it represents how much value an option loses each day as expiration approaches. Time decay does accelerate as the option nears expiration, and Theta primarily affects the extrinsic value of the option. So here's one chart, and I'll show the other chart that I always use of Theta Decay. Typically, we can see Theta Decay occurring over time, heading down on an option as if we were, and same thing on the calls, and then on the puts, we have the similar effect depending on the price movement of the stock or the ETF. So we're always counting on that. Basically, as option sellers, we are looking for this decline. We always use that term: buy, sell high, buy low. That plays into our hands there. And this is, while this chart is a more broadly look at this, you'll look at the chart here I have coming up, which is the one that's I think we're most familiar with if we sell options. Impact on option buyers. Theta Decay works against buyers of calls and options. So buyers of calls and puts lose extrinsic value daily. And each day that passes erodes the option value if the stock does not move. So we don't mind a stock not moving. Remember, we talk a lot about being neutral to slightly bullish or slightly bearish. We don't need the stock to move when we sell an option out of the money. A buyer of option does want the stock or the underlying to move, and they need a strong move in the case to set off the decay. So if they buy a call for $3 and it falls to 240 without movement, they are chasing a negative turn on that. So we like to think of it as they're the gamblers. So if you get the big number and you draw your straight, or more importantly, let's say you buy the option and it moves strongly to the upside, then you can win big. But that happens less compared to when option sellers and the option in the stock moving down, or the stock not moving at all. So gamblers, as we refer to the option buyers, need the big hand to win. Now there's a place for option buying, so we're not knocking option buying. It just, again, going back to why option buying can be so challenging and why option selling is more our approach. So we benefit from theta decay. We collect the premium up front, and then that erodes in daily. We talked about this before, sort of selling high at $2 and close, let's say, at 25 cents. And time is our ally of the option seller. We provide this price stays within a range. So it's like being the house. So you collect a credit up front, you buy it back cheaper. You're like the house in the casino, and you win more often, maybe not as big a wins as you might win on buying options, but you're winning more often. So this is the chart that we always talk about with theta. With theta decay, where we are looking at the acceleration of this option expiration. So inside 30 days, we start to get it, particularly if the option moves further and further out of the money. So obviously, if the option moves out of the money. If the stock is trading higher and we've sold a put and the stock is now 15, 20, 25% out of the money, we usually can see theta decay kick in for us between 30 and 21 days. If it's not, the stock is sort of flat, maybe slightly up, slightly down, but we're still out of the money, then it takes a little longer. We need to get into the last 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks. And if it's close, and then we see the theta decay really start to come out when we get close, if we're 1-2% out of the money in the last 7 days. And we'll look at that live on the Thinkorswim screen as well. So basically, the steeper the curve, it's, the closer you get to expiration, the steeper that curve gets. Particularly, it's steeper at 7 days than it is at 30 DTE. So again, that's why it favors short premium selling, using puts to sell, and using that sort of neutral to slightly bullish or slightly bearish. In Income Masters, we watch daily theta decay. Basically, that becomes cash in our pocket. That helps determine also when we might manage a position. So when we see our position there and we have a certain amount of time left, and so we have days to expiration, we got to watch percent out of the money. So if we're 5-6% out of the money, and then how much daily theta decay is remaining. So the obvious one is when we're selling a covered call on a stock, a long-term stock, and we see that the option premium has gone. We collected $1 up front, and now we're down to about 20 cents. We can make a decision based on the amount of theta decay that's occurred or might occur. But we're selling an option put. We also have theta decay working there that we might want to collect by waiting a little longer before we take the stock off the table. And this particularly, the position off the table, this particularly helps us when we're managing positions where we're actually not starting at the 30-40 day level, and we're actually in a position that we've managed a couple of times and we're still out of the money. We do have to watch for gamma effect, and I'll show you too on a live example there. We have live stock coming up here with we have to watch gamma effect. Gamma is the speed at which it accelerates the theta decay in the last 3 or 4 days. It's a simplified version of it. So here, when I'm looking at Thinkorswim, and here's an example of a trade on RBLX. We have 9 days to go in this trade. We have $31.73 potentially of theta decay per day. So you can see the option, the bought option is 83 cents, the sold is $15.95. So there's still 70 some cents of of difference between the two marks there, the mark and between the 83 cents of the bot and the 59 cents. Well, that is in effect our theta decay. So we can still collect on this one, which has 9 days to go, $31 of cash can go into our account if this stock's trading at 125, just stays about 125. If it doesn't move, if it stays at 125, 126, 124, every day we go on, we collect $32 more in our pocket. That means these numbers start to change and this comes closer to this. And we're all pretty familiar with this, but this is typically what we look at when we're out at Thinkorswim, and I look at it when I'm looking to manage a trade position. And you can see this position's 5% out of the money, 9 days to go. So I may not be in a clear, I mean, I may have a profit. In fact, I show a profit here, but I'm not that big a hurry to close it because I know I can earn a few more dollars. And as long as it's staying in the 3 to 5% range out of the money, I'm going to wait and collect that cash. And we're going to go out and look at a live Thinkorswim screen to see the impact of this. So strategies for taking advantage of theta decay, for buyers of options, they can use longer duration options. That gives them more time to trade and to be in it and to get the stock or the underlying to move in their direction. If they're bullish, if they're bearish, it's not. They can also use leaps, but that helps reduce theta decay. They can also trade around events that actually move options like earnings, unusual option activity, regulatory events, news events. So sometimes option buyers are big players at the earnings time because they're expecting to move. Either they can buy a call for the move upside or they buy a put for the move downside. And they manage position size since theta decay is always working against them. So they have to be, on their toes, watching it before that starts to roll over on them. So again, you'll see option buyers, if they are buying an option out 45 days, they're going to be watching that option when it gets into that same 21-day range. For us, option sellers, we focus on high IV environments. That's why we look for high implied volatility, high implied volatility rank. It gives us richer premiums. We sell options with 30 to 45 DTE for balance, our premium and risk. And of course, we manage the risk of large moves with defined risk spreads. That's what helps us, keep the position in check. And we close positions early. We don't try to run them all the way down to expiration. If we can take 50% max profit, we're out of it sometimes before theta decay even starts to really kick in. Particularly again, if our underlying has a big move or even just is fairly flat from where we're getting into the position. So we'll go out and look at this long term. We'll look at this live. But again, theta decay is something I like this term. Theta decay is the silent force in options trading. It benefits sellers, hurts buyers. The decay accelerates closer to expiration. We align strategies with this time decay advantage. Buyers have to trade around catalysts, and they consider leaps or longer term positions. Sellers, we sell in a high IV environment, target 30 to 45 DTE, and close early. And then again, time favors the sellers, works against the buyers. So we want to use it wisely. So let me go out and we can actually use some very updated examples with this. Let's use a good one here. We are in Adobe. We're probably going to manage. This is actually stalled out a little bit. It was up to 356. We have 2 days to go, and we have $156 of daily theta decay. Meaning, in the last 2.5 days here, we theoretically could pick up $151 per day, and basically that's calculated with the difference between the 160 and the 71 cents. So if the stock just stays at 355 and we let it expire on Friday, we're going to pick up, more cash in this on this trade. Now, we know our Adobe position, we've managed it, so it's not $1,100 of P&L. It's actually roughly a small, I think, a 20-cent loss. So we're going to actually roll it. But again, I keep an eye on the theta decay here, and this is why I keep this column here next to the delta. so I can check out where we are when we need to adjust something here. It helps me as we get into this short-term time period, 2 days. We're here at 316. Us CEG is a little different because it's right at the money or almost at the money. So we're not going to worry so much about the theta decay here as we need to manage this position and can we roll it down and collect a credit. A longer term position like GE, again, we're not looking at the theta decay right now because we still have 23 days to go. But once we get inside 18, 17, 16 days, we'll keep an eye on, I'll keep an eye on that. Same here with Lilly because we just literally got into Lilly's trade. The other one, Meta, which that's why we rolled Meta today. We rolled it literally strike to strike, and now the Meta has moved down. It was at 349, 348 when we did the roll. I assume the market has backed up a little bit. Let's just check it out. Yeah, and it's coming back again. I don't think there's any news on Meta. And then Microsoft, we have 9 days to go on this. We're also now Microsoft's actually showing a little bit of strength. At least it's back up from this 499 it was at 498, 499 yesterday. Up a little bit. We got $36 theta decay, but again, with 9 days, we were very much on top of rolling this one or adjusting this one. And then again, we use this. Here's another one, which is Vertiv, which is coming back as well, up $1 today. So we can make a decision to roll that probably out from time frame here. So, and then on covered calls, it's a different kind of thing with theta decay because you're looking at really how much is left. I mean, here's Blackstone, which is next Friday. We have a 180 call, 9 points out of the money. We have a 40 cent of credit still left. So there's, in 9 days, we pick up almost $5.50 of credit. We're not going to wait all the way to 9 days with Blackstone. But again, we can use that as we're looking at that as well. So theta decay, it's kind of a mix. It comes in handy when we're looking at crossed our positions. It's not much we look at with a longer term position that's open more than 20 days or 30 days. We don't get into that. It is something we look at when we make a decision when we want to roll in the last 3 or 4 days. And again, all these trades, Adobe, Constellation Energy, Meta was, Microsoft are all adjustment trades. So we have a little different perspective in trying to take profit early. We're not rolling out long term right now. So that's theta decay there. And again, just adding to this in terms of what we're going to be doing, we'll be rolling Adobe either right after this session or if we get a pickup in the market. And again, I'll look at the market here. Yeah, I mean, we had a pullback in the market here. We've been up all day, basically topping out at 64.80, and we pulled up back a little bit, and now we're moving back in. So I want to see if this move is enough to hold, and then we keep these positions, and then we'll roll Adobe out 1 week. Now, some of these addition positions we're going to exit temporarily if we can get out of them, just because I'm going to be out for that 5-day period. And we can always come back into positions. So we see something that's going to expire, or we can close out for less, a little small debit. We will be doing that on these positions as well. So, just a quick review here. Let me do one thing I did want to do. We won't have any new trades today. One thing is NVIDIA. It's NVIDIA day. They announce after the market their earnings, and it could have a major impact in the market. It could not. But if it does, I'd rather not put a new position on today that we have to deal with tomorrow because it's something happened with NVIDIA. There's a lot of factors in play with NVIDIA, including China and tariffs and the different chips coming out. So it's something there. Now, I do want to take 1 second to look at something here. So hold on. Second. All right, we could close CoreWeave. We've got about between 50 and 55 cents of profit. That gives us about $200 in that. So go ahead and close CoreWeave. I wasn't anticipating this, but when I looked at it, we collect about 7 or 8%, 8-cent credit. We started at 8 cents. So this is a madness trade. I'm not gonna play too much with it. Let me see if I get it down to 7 cents and fill it. And it filled at 7 cents. So somewhere between 6 and 8 cents credit. It'll give us about 52, 53 cents of profit per contract, but $53 per contract. We did 4 in our live account, but that now leaves us with just the United Healthcare Apple position in income madness. And United Healthcare, looking pretty good there. So up $3 again today. Apple still, I guess we're 4% out of the money, 4.5% out of the money. So it's the time left in it. We're going to know a lot more next week before that. So I still think we could probably get out of these positions. UNH we may get out of tomorrow. And by the way, even though it will not be, will be dark on Friday, we will be watching the market, particularly Friday morning, in case we need to make any adjustments positions. So that, Emily, I'll take questions.
All right, Dave. No real questions about Theta Decay, just on Meta that Trump came out and said the Louisiana data center would have a price tag of 50 billion versus 10 billion that was assumed, might be causing a temporary movement in the stock. Some people put in a good till canceled order at a higher credit. The credit's now down to around 30 cents to roll that position.
What are we talking about, Meta?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know why it's down, but it's down.
Okay, Jenny got 9 cents for CoreWeave. That's good.
Yeah.
10 cents, so it's going up a little bit. So any credit that you can get adds to that credit, the net credit that we had, and increases your profit.
Yeah, and I think with I'll go to the numbers after this, but that puts us over the $2,000 goal. There's 2 remaining positions, so we will keep close eye on those last remaining positions for income madness.
Nice. Michelle notes Meta's now back up to about 48 cents to roll. So it got as low as around 30, it looks like, and then now it's
Okay.
back up.
All right.
Dave, I don't think have you done a session recently on setting up Thinkorswim to look like your Thinkorswim setup? I don't think so, right?
We did one last year in 2024. I can do another Thinkorswim and add that into the tactics session. That's it's not so much a tactic, but there is, I mean, when have Theta Decay, if you don't have, I mean, you can put Theta Decay. We've talked about this before, right? There's a gazillion columns you can add in there. And one thing I try to do is not get it too busy. And but you can add delta, you can theta, percent out of the money, percent in the money, intrinsic value, extrinsic value. These 2 are set. But I can do a session on that. You just, I mean, first of all, if you want to start playing around with it, you just go to your little wheel over here and you can add a column. You've got all your columns. If you have columns open and you only have a couple, you can go in here and start adding in different columns, but you can definitely find theta by simply typing in theta. And then click that, add it, click add, and you can add theta into that. And then you can rearrange where you want it to be on the line here.
Okay, have you looked at Bloom Energy, ticker BE? It's been going straight up since July, Brad notes.
Yeah. BE did hit our scan. And one time I did look at trading it was weren't getting much in the way of credit. So I'm looking here, just going up to the 19th. The one wide vertical 17 cents. So that was one of the challenges, was not getting enough credit. But it is, I don't know, it's there today. Let's look at Bloom Energy. There it is. So I ran this scan a little earlier. On the scans I run, BE shows up, $50 stock, industrial company. I played around with this to trade back in madness back last week, and kept coming up with just, that's a little bit 37.46. It was bouncing around. There's definitely the other thing was, at least when I was looking at madness for September 19th, the number of open interest was a lot less. Now it's picked up quite a bit since last week. So we'll be looking at BE, again, but I want to make sure we can get. I think the problem is, we were probably looking at. I was probably looking in here. Yeah, there was some decent volume up front for September 5th. But that's only a week away. It's the 12th. Yeah, I mean it's got enough open interest. Some of that's earlier open interest. Somebody's making a big bet to the downside. This is going to go 31. And yeah, that's the chart. So if we can find enough credit in it, we'll get getting into that.
Okay, a few people are asking about the Occidental position, which we'll be managing this week, but
Yeah,
also Joe's wondering if you, with a strong move up today, are you thinking about staying in the position long term?
Occidental is a great company. I don't think there's any problem with it. It's just it's played out like a lot of the energy stocks, which is dependent on the price of oil. So it got the one rise up to 47, now 46. But remember, we started this thing at 60 over a year ago. So it's, we haven't had other. Let me get this. I have one day. Sorry. This has been the energy market pretty much. I mean, it's not a straight down. It's not like a collapse like we've seen in tech. Although we did have some, here in April. I think that was we had the threat of war, and then the war threat came off, Liberation Day, and then anyway, oil prices have really been impacting Occidental. It's a good company, and it's just that every time we sort of venture into oil, we can't quite get a direction, or at least get a consistent direction. So yeah, we could stay in this. I mean, we've got a dividend coming up, which we might as well try to collect. So what we could do is let this ourselves be called out and re-enter it. In fact, that may be the best thing, because I'm sure we can roll it strike to strike, but we're probably going to get called out for the dividend. And trying to raise it up to the, let's say, the 48 level and paying a debit. We don't want to do that. I give back that kind of money. So probably I'll look at that tomorrow before our session, and if it pulls way back, we can roll it. But I wouldn't mind, just let it get called out and we sell, buy the stock. What's the tip date here? We've already been collecting dividends on this, 24 cents on 9/10. So that's a week, 2 weeks from now. Actually, let's see. Yeah, I don't want to pay debit. I mean, we could roll the 45.50 for 25 cents. Yeah, let me keep an eye on this. We may end up rolling this for 1 week and then take assignment next week, and the 10th is the following week. So, yeah, we definitely know we had to manage that. So that's coming up here, definitely.
Hey Dave, regarding the home builders, have you ever considered trading the ETF nail? It's a 3x bull shares.
No, not for this group. I mean, we don't do leverage trades. It's too wild. And I have test traded leverage ETFs in whether from Drexion or ProShares or some of the other companies, and it is I don't want to do that for our group here. I mean, you're welcome to get into that. And when it works, it works. When it goes against you, it's if this is a 3 times X down, you're going to be look at the chart. You're going to be all up on that. Some the chart. Just the last 30 days. I mean, yeah, it's a good chart now, but you get these big movements one way or the other here, from 71 to 90. So, you're welcome to trade in those, but we'll hold off right now.
Great. Brad knows Warren Buffett's a big buyer of Occidental, so probably a good one to hold for the long term.
Yeah, I've said that from day one. Occidental was, and even when we had when oil really collapsed there and the Occidental price went down, there was nothing wrong with the company. It was one of my favorite energy companies there. But again, these companies have produced good earnings. You know, Exxon, Chevron, mostly nailing all their earnings results, and they've built up a lot of cash over the last 2 years. The anticipation was with this administration that energy stocks would get some benefits. They haven't materialized because a lot of that is still due to the price of oil, which has remained relatively low, particularly since we have a standoff that was between Iran and Israel has been calmed down, and there seems to be even hope that the Russia-Ukraine settlement that would stabilize oil prices as well. So.
Okay, and as far as Adobe, we are going to be rolling that this week before our expiration. Obviously, I'm not
Yep.
sure if it'll be today or tomorrow. And then the other perpetual income positions, Michelle's wondering about CCI and CF.
Yeah, I think I mentioned before. I just when you're backing up selling something CF, we might be able to get in the next day or two. Looking for that to get to 87 so we could sell a call. And again, that's just the good thing about that. It's moved up here. We entered that position at 94. So CF, we don't really want to sell nothing less than about 92, 93. And we're just not getting enough credit right now. So but I've watching those every day. CCI is we've got the SIGA decided what to do with the dividend. The dividend comes out right on the day of the ex-div day is the day of the next expiration. So if we're close, we're going to get called out. And do we want to get called out or do something different there? So, but we'll look at that.
Okay, Dave, that's it for questions.
All right, we're going to be back tomorrow. We'll do live trading. We'll actually review all our positions since Friday will be out in terms of no show. So we'll review them all again. We may have some alerts and adjustments this afternoon. I'd like to see the market if it's coming back up. We'll also I'll revisit the trade up. I looked at Google again today and just not there for Google. So most likely we'll not be trading Google, but there's a couple others now that come up that are showing numbers, and so we'll take a look at those tomorrow as well. So with that, have a good rest of the day.
All right, thanks, Dave. Thanks everyone for joining us. We recorded this session. We'll be posting a replay to the platform. We'll see you tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. Eastern for our next live session, but keep an eye on your inbox this afternoon for alerts managing open positions. Thanks and have a good day trading.